We'd like you to run us through the whole gamut of emotions. We want to laugh, we want to cry. I usually do after you give me the news.
I could be here all night.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023 Select Board meeting. We did have a little technical difficulty when we went into executive session. Guess we lost power earlier and the mics never came on, so you may have seen me talking, but nothing coming through. We apologize for that. This meeting is being recorded and taped by Foxboro Cable Access. And we have a selectman for the day. This is Ian Fitzgerald. Say hi, wave to everybody. There you go. Thousands are watching you right now, and I'm sure all your friends are too. So, Ian, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, you're going to stand, turn right around because the flag's behind us. Here we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're already doing better than me. All right, so we can't have a selectman for the day without a proclamation. So we're going to have our clerk read the proclamation from us to you.
Very good. Ian. Whereas since the formation of the Commonwealth and the townships therein, many citizens have volunteered and have been selected democratically for the duty to represent their communities to the fullest of their ability, it is an important responsibility requiring temperance, fortitude, wisdom, and above all, a drive to do more for others than oneself. Whereas since the incorporation of Foxborough on June 10, 1778, these individuals, known as the Select Board, have led the town through good and bad times, through the guidance and stewardship of the public interest, in safeguarding the values and traditions of this great community. Whereas Select Board member for a day requires the prestigious presence of the designee to honorably attend, open, and run the meeting with his charismatic charm, clever wit, and wisdom beyond his years. Now, therefore, the Foxborough Select Board hereby do proclaim Ian Fitzgerald as a recipient of Select Board member for a day and the prescribed responsibilities related thereto. This citation is given under the seal of the town of Foxborough on this 23rd day of May, 2023. Congratulations, Ian.
We're going to take a quick picture of it. You and I are going to stay here. Would you guys want to stand behind us?
Absolutely.
You get to hold it, or I'll hold it for you.
Perfect. Ready? Pop that on.
Mom, you want to come up for one? Awesome. Thank you. All right. Ready for your first job? All right, so I'm going to have you read that line right there. Yep.
Do we have anyone here for citizens' input?
Okay, seeing none, we'll go on to the next agenda item. So the next up is we, in executive session, talked about the new contract for our new finance director. So we go ahead and have you just read the next line right there.
Now, the Select Board will take a vote on the finance director contract for Mary Almodovar.
Nice job.
Very good.
The Select Board will now hear from a recreation
Oh,
director.
no, that's good. We'll stop there for a second. Then you go turn to the clerk and have him read the motion.
Motion to approve the finance director contract for Marie Almodovar.
Second.
Go ahead and say any further questions.
Oh, yeah?
Any further comment?
And further comment?
Nope. Seeing none?
No, no.
Say, all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye. All opposed? Go ahead.
What?
Say all opposed.
All opposed?
Seeing none, we have a new finance director contract.
We have a
Awesome.
new finance
Yep, You can say-
contract.
congratulations, Marie.
Congratulations, Marie.
All right, congratulations, Marie, that's awesome. All right, what's up next for us?
The Selectmen Board will now hear from Recreation Director Benny
Yeah,
Tosi
yep,
about 2023 Farmers Market season on the Common.
nailed it. All right, so that's Renee.
Hi Ian, how are you? So I'm here to talk about the farmer's market. I don't know if you've ever been, but we're doing the farmer's market again on the Common this year. We have a couple new vendors. Some of the old vendors are coming back. The fudge lady, who's super popular. We do have a new cookie lady, so I heard her cookies are amazing. Fairmont Fruit Farms will be back again with their produce. A new honey vendor and a couple of crafters that have jumped on board. So we're hoping to get 15 to 20 vendors at each market. It starts June 1st. We have changed the time from 4 to 7. It's now going to be from 5 to 8, so that maybe people who are staying for the JC's concerts will stay longer and do some shopping as well. So we're back on the Common June 1st to September 7th.
Awesome. Any questions?
Just love the fudge lady.
I
Yeah, I
know.
love Is this our 5th year?
Yes, technically. It's been 6 years ago we started.
Oh, that's
It is
right,
our
but
fifth
we
year.
did,
That one COVID year we did not
yeah, we
have.
did, that's right.
Didn't have the market, but, yeah,
And
so I'm
also,
super
let's-
excited.
Let's pray for good weather.
Yes, I
Last year-
know,
Last
I
year
know.
was a
Oh,
bad,
gosh.
bad weather for
It
the
rained,
farmers
literally rained
market.
every Thursday.
Every
Yeah.
Thursday.
It did. Yeah, so we're gonna do an event at each market again like we did last year. We have, we'll do yoga in the Common, art in the park. We do have Jesse from Toy Story who will come help with opening day. We'll do the petting zoo again, things like that. So it'll be fun. And all that will be posted on our website.
So this permit will change to 5 to 8 p.m.
Yes, please.
While we got you up here, you want to mention where we were an hour ago?
Yeah, so we just had the ribbon cutting for the new pickleball courts, which are amazing. I'm super excited about them. It's really the first opportunity where Recreation and the Council on Aging got to combine for our multi-generational programs. I am absolutely in awe and shock of the overwhelming amount of people that love pickleball. They are coming out from everywhere. The minute I posted on the Facebook that the paint was dry, I decided to take a ride down and see them myself, and oh my, there was a lot of people there playing already. Yes, we're getting fencing. Yes, there will be some benches. We ordered 3 8-foot benches to go along the wooden fence that's there now. We have a couple picnic tables coming as well that'll be off to the left side. The fences will be on the back and the furthest end, and then one separating the 2 sets of 3 courts. So that'll help with the balls going. We start lessons tomorrow morning. I have an overwhelming amount of people. We have 2 sessions in the morning with 20 people in each group, and then I have 2 sessions in the afternoon with 20 people in each group. Then we have a senior-only lessons that will start June 14th, and that's filling up quite quickly. And then we're gonna do sometimes where it's just reserved seniors only. That'll be Friday from 8:30 to 11, so it'll be good. And other than that, it's just kind of open play. I know there's an app out there called Team Reach, and people can just log into that and be, hey, I'm a intermediate player, I'm going out at 10 o'clock, anyone wanna play, type of thing. But there won't be any set organized times. It's going to be no different than the playground or the tennis courts or the basketball courts where you can just come and play and, meet up with your friends and whatnot.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's down at Payson.
Would you mention a few of the donors, too?
Yes,
that
absolutely.
made this possible?
So the Partners in Patriotism made a great donation, and the Stern Charitable Trust Foundation were the ones who are helping with their donation was made to do the picnic tables, the benches, and the fence. So, yeah, we're super excited.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And when we went down there for the ribbon cutting, there were so many people there. I'm like, wow, so many people for the ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
Come to find out, they wanted us the hell out of there,
Yes, yeah.
so they could get on the court. It was all, 3/4 of them were pickleball players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Waiting for poor Mark to talk faster.
Yes, yeah.
Great turnout.
Yeah, so we're super excited.
Awesome.
Some good, exciting things going on
Yeah.
here right now
Yeah.
for recreation. Great.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, we're ready for
And
summer
Council
now.
on Aging, by the
Yeah.
way, yep. Great.
Yeah, it's a great collaboration. I'm really excited about the whole multi-generational thing, and it's been great. I was just saying to Mark earlier today, it's been nice where, you know, some of the seniors have called over to the rec department to help with registration and just getting to know them, and you know, then it was nice to put a name to a face being down at the ribbon cutting, so that was good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, good luck, Ian.
All right.
Next on the agenda is a public hearing of an transfer
Yeah.
of an on
Premises, yep.
premises all alcohol beverage license in common
Victualler.
victualler and 7-day entertainment license application
Yep.
Nice.
of the Harp Patriot Place at 200 Patriot Place.
Very good. Okay, the Board of Selectmen, acting as the local licensing authority pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 138, will conduct a public hearing on Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023, beginning at 7:15 PM in the Gala Meeting Room, Town Hall, 40 South Street, Foxborough, Mass., on the application of a transfer of license of an on-premises annual all-alcohol beverages license from CBS Scene, doing business as CBS Sporting Club, 200 Patriot Place, Foxborough, Mass., to Route 1 Hospitality, Inc., doing business as The Harp Patriot Place. Brian Burke, General Manager. All interested parties are welcome to attend.
You're on.
Fantastic. Good evening, Mr. Chair, honorary board member, other board members. It's nice to be here before you again in my second home, the Select Board hearing room. I'm Tom Miller from McDermott Quilty & Miller in Boston. I'm joined by Brian Burke, the proposed manager of record. I'm also joined by a full complement of the Briar Group's team, showing you the dedication to not only this location, but their other existing location in Foxborough, and how they take this responsibility seriously. As was stated, we are here for a transfer of an all-alcoholic beverages license from one corporation to another to be exercised in the same location at Patriot Place. We're converting the former CBS Sporting Club to the Harp. As the board is aware, the Harp is a institution in Boston located directly across the street from the Garden.
Never mind.
They've been operating here in that location for over 40 years. And this team, as you can tell, is excited to be bringing this concept down here to Foxborough, to Patriot Place specifically, in a very unique location, located in this very unique location overlooking Gillette Stadium. This is essentially the view they will see from the outdoor patio, and there's really, you can't beat it for what this brand and this concept embodies. They are very familiar with the unique challenges of operating so close to a large sports venue. They've been doing it for 40 years at the original Harp, and they've been doing it for, math isn't my strong suit, that's why I went to law school, about 5 years in Patriot Place. They took over the former Toby Keith's and have been operating it as Six String ever since they took it over.
That's why they look familiar.
That's why they look familiar.
That's why you guys look so familiar.
So they have not just a unique understanding of how to operate outside a venue like this, but also how to operate specifically outside of this venue. They are aware of the unique challenges it poses and how best to review and address them. Here you can see the overall floor plan is basically staying the same. There are no major renovations overall. The risers being ripped out, seating is being rearranged, and is rebranded to reflect this change to the harp at Patriot Place. Just to give you an idea what it is going to look like, we don't have full renderings, but we do have these inspirational pictures, which will give you an idea of how it is going to feel both inside and outside. This does have a patio that overlooks the stadium. So this kind of gives you an idea of what that inspiration is. There we go. Helps if I push the right button. The proposed menu here is derived from their experience both in Boston and at Patriot Place, and will be, as it states, an elevated approach to game day food. It encompasses everything from a quick bite to eat prior to a game, or as you are on your way to one of the other establishments in Patriot Place, or after you get out of one of the many fitness centers, or any, if you want to have a full sit-down meal with sandwiches, salads, full entrees, it runs the gamut and gives you pretty much any option any option for a good meal at in an elevated pub-style atmosphere. As I've said, Brian is the proposed manager of record. He is a U.S. citizen. He is very familiar with the rules and regulations. He's very experienced in the food and beverage industry. Specifically, he has been at Patriot Place for over 8 years, both at Toby Keith and now with Sixth String. He will be moving from Sixth String to the Harp. This team is also very familiar and will be backing him up in ways that I, would be very jealous of if I didn't work for this group and was opening a new restaurant. So he is also familiar with not only the ABCC rules and regulations, the rules of the Commonwealth, but because of his time at Patriot Place, he is familiar with the town's rules for the sale and service of alcoholic beverages. Just one more. This is kind of what you can expect from the food and the atmosphere. And so we want to thank you all for hearing this application tonight, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
From the board?
No, usually I have something to ask about your experience, but obviously it's all there already. So, as far as I'm concerned, it'd be nice to see another great establishment coming up there, and wish you all the best.
I had my 25-year-old son told me you guys were coming to Patriots Place before even I knew. Get a text from him. Heard the Hops coming to Patriots Place. I said, no. 2 days later, we got to notice that you guys are, and both my 25 and 28-year-old are very excited you guys are coming up there.
They have a very good marketing team. Very good at getting the word out.
Yeah, so I was a little embarrassed, but that's okay. Ian, how about saying that again?
Do we have anyone here for citizens input?
Since this is an open meeting, anyone out there want to comment? Okay, seeing none? Close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Any further discussion? What'd you say? All those in favor? All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Aye. All
Aye.
opposed?
All opposed?
None. All right, so public meeting is closed. We'll go on to the next.
Motion to approve a 7-day all alcohol beverage license for Route 1 Hospitality, Inc., doing business as the Harp at 200 Patriot Place.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
All opposed?
Seeing none. That's great.
We
Oh.
do have a
I was
common
gonna say.
vic license as well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Common Vic and Entertainment.
Sorry. I should read.
It's overrated.
It's overrated.
Here it is. Motion to approve a common victualler and 7-day entertainment license for Route 1 Hospitality, Inc., doing business as the Harp at 200 Patriot Place.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
All opposed?
Seeing none? Now you're done. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, members. Thank you, Mr.
Oh,
Fitzgerald.
do you have a potential day you're opening?
Looking end of June, potentially the week of June 19th,
Awesome.
potentially,
Yeah,
if all goes to plan. So,
well goes play. Luckily, not a lot of renovations, so
no, it's coming along quickly. So
Awesome.
Everything's on track.
good.
Yeah.
Looking forward to
Even,
having
as we all
one
know, even minor renovations go smoothly.
someday. All right. All right, great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good luck, everybody. All right. All right, so last big one. Here we go.
Now we'll hear from land use and
Economic.
economic development director Paige Duncan, building
Commissioner.
Commissioner Scott Shippey, and
Conservation.
conservation agent Jane Pierce for an update on the land use department.
Awesome.
Nice job, Ian.
Thank you, Ian. Nice job. So, it's up to you, Ian, at this point. Nothing personal against them, but if you want to sneak out, now's a good time. But you can certainly stay if you want to.
Stay.
You'll stay? Awesome. They'll be psyched.
Who wouldn't want to hear us?
I hear you.
A lot of pressure.
I know, right?
You're such a draw, Paige.
Exactly.
Seeing how everybody else left.
Yeah, I know, it's my big crowd here.
She's working her demographic now, right?
Yes. I know everybody's watching on TV. We have a big draw. So I'm Paige Duncan. I'm the Director of Land Use and Economic Development. I have Scott Shippey with me and Jane Pierce. They'll both be speaking, so don't worry, I won't be doing all the talking. So I've watched all the other presentations, and I got the loud and clear message that succinct is good. I also feel like you guys kind of have a good idea of what this, and the townspeople probably have a better idea of what our department does than others, so we're gonna kind of whip through things and give you an overview, and then after that, we figured we'd leave time for questions, because, you always want to hear about what's going on. So let's see. So, Department of Land Use and Economic Development. We have 10 employees in this department. If you recall, there was a reorganization, so we're now no longer individual departments, but we are the Department of Land Use and Economic Development, under which falls planning, building, conservation, and zoning. So we have a great group. We're upstairs on the second floor of Town Hall, and we have offices next to one another, so we're able to collaborate closely, and it's really worked out well. Whoa.
Oh, that's cool.
Did I do that?
Fancy.
Just the one on the side.
Okay, am I doing this wrong?
Just the button on the round side button.
The round side. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that.
Oh,
So if you recall, last year we did restructure. Previously, we were four separate entities, and the benefits have really proven, at least we can see it in our office, and we're hoping that the residents and businesses see it. We are seeing enhanced customer service. It's a lot more cohesive. A lot of times one person will be at our counter and we'll say, oh, we need to talk to Scott, and then we'll go meet us at the next counter, and we'll race through the office and go over there. So it's really worked out. We've always, Jane and planning have always been together, so that works out well. So we're efficient, and again, the communication, we never really lacked in that, as you can probably imagine. But it's really worked out well with this cohesive approach. And we did get one grant as a result of this innovative approach. We got our IT grant from the state last year, or earlier this year, for almost $200,000. And they noted our innovative approach to land use. So I will say we're not the only one. There are some other towns that have done this, but it is definitely on the sort of cutting edge of land use departments running it this way. So grants and earmarks. I know financial matters are always really important to residents and to the board. We've raised, actually today we got a couple new ones, so we didn't update that number maybe. But $9.2 million in grants and funding since I started in 2015. Well, 2016 really, it was December 2015. So we've been very successful, as you can see. In fact, we got notified of 2 more grants yesterday relating to our tourism effort. And in fact, I can give you this, I only have one because they're going to press, but if you want to pass this down. Thank you. I'll get a mic. That's our tourism effort, and it's really taking off. And so we just got another $270,000 grant from the Mass Gaming Commission yesterday, and we got a mini grant from the state of Meet the State program. It's a mini grant, and we think it's somewhere in the value of 30 to 40,000. It's really, we don't know yet what the quote's going to come out at, but we're going to create a digital visitors guide. So that's been really exciting, and it's been one that obviously has received quite a bit of funding. The state and the folks at the Mass Gaming Commission and the Tourism Board have really supported that. So we've also been successful with Walnut Street. As you know, that project is going on. So mentioning Walnut Street, what have we been doing lately? We've been working heavily on the Walnut Street Housing Authority project. That was approved 2 weeks ago, or I was going to say last week, but I was away, so it was a week prior. So that's 200 all affordable units for 55 and older and disabled adults. Will be run through the Housing Authority program. We also support the zoning board on the Moore Street project that was approved. We work heavily with the Foxborough Common Business Collaborative, and any business really coming to town, in town, anybody who needs help, that, you know, we support that. You've probably seen our wayfinding signage. We continue to work on that. We have new crosswalk signs up by Shoveltown. We're trying to respond. We are still waiting for the flashing lights.
That was a great idea, by the way.
Oh, good,
Those
thank you.
signs on either side to say use the crosswalks.
Is it working?
No, I still saw a couple of people walk right by those signs.
Yeah,
And
well-
wait for traffic to stop.
Hopefully it
But-
changes a few minds.
Yes.
We're never going to fix everything. And then we've been working on uptown parking, as you know, and so we've really, I think we've all experienced the sort of increased energy uptown, and it's only going to get better. So the rec department and, you know, all the folks over at Human Services have really worked hard over there. So this is our website for our tourism effort. It's Visit FPW, Foxborough, Plainville, Rentham. And as I said, so we applied for $600,000. We only got $270,000, so kind of lame. But, you know, we put in the whole amount to see where we got. We're really thrilled with what we did. We also are now classified as a silver level mass bio community. And what that means is just like R&D type uses would be more likely to look at a town of Foxborough, because we've passed a few thresholds that make us desirable for R&D. And if you recall, Route 1 is seeking to attract some R&D. It hasn't worked yet, but we're working on it. And then most recently, we've also been working with the Asset Review Committee. At town meeting, we just voted to have this board actually will have to decide what to do with the Pratt School, and or ask the Asset Review, you know, we have to work on that project now that the town meeting voted to dispose of Pratt School. And then the state hospital is currently, the auditorium at the state hospital is currently under evaluation by an architectural firm. And we also had a hazmat assessment done. I can say that the hazmat alone for asbestos is at $250,000. So that's just a start. So we know it's going to be pricey. And then once we have all that information, I think Seth is on that committee. We'll be working to make a recommendation to the town. You know, is it something the town can use? Is it something the town's better off disposing of? What cost-benefit analysis? So we'll get to that next year with the auditorium. With that, I've spoken enough. I'm going to hand it over to Scott. It's this button, not that one.
It's not.
Not that one.
Good evening, folks. I'm going to make it down quickly as possible. Building department has been really, really busy. I don't know if everybody knows the north end zone renovations. That's taken most of my time right now. You should take a walk by there. It's kind of cool. That's been ongoing since, last
Since you
June?
started, right?
Yeah, June is actually when they started doing the structural steel. And within 10 months, they pretty much got a lot of it done. They're still working on the interior finishes as we speak. A couple of other major projects that we had 29 Wall Street, which was a 3-story apartment building that was just down the street. That was massive. They just actually got their CO at the beginning of this year.
Yeah, like about a month or two ago.
A month or two ago. So they're up and running. They have a 5,000 square foot commercial building that's vacant right now, but it's ready for a tenant fit out. A couple of things, the old terminals, that was converted to like a movie production theater, where they just filmed one season of Julia, the HBO series there, which was kind of neat to see the sets there. It's kind of, and they're gonna hopefully have more movie production there coming up. Everybody knows Shoveltown in Station 1 just opened up. That's a mixed-use building, 2-story, apartments above, restaurant and pub on the first floor. Couple of mom-and-pop shops that opened up, like House Sushi, Bon Mi, and Everything Bagel. They're up and flourishing. I see them, they're packed to the gill. And apparently, we're getting a new one, the Harp, that I didn't know about. So there's more. Also at the north end, at the stadium, the old building P was demolished and a new 4-story building was put up there for football operations on the first, and they're probably projecting the second floor, but the third and fourth floor are for the craft group. So it's now called the craft group. And just to give you like the numbers, which we'll switch with that button. See, I got it. We brought in about $1.9 million in permit fees in 2022. We're the first department, with the help of Paige getting that grant. We've got a new online permitting software, which is Permitize, and it seems to be up and running perfect right now. Well, not perfect. I hate to say perfect. We had a long discussion today, but at least we can have conversations with the Full Circle, and they're meeting our needs so far. With the help of the board here, we did increase the permit fees also. They haven't been increased since 2011. We still continue working with the fire department on the annual inspections. Those include 5 years inspections, which is the multifamily, and the annuals, which is the alcohol licensing. I think we have like 100 of those in town. It's a lot. And we're just working closely with the fire department and the health department on multifamily houses and trying to get them into compliance. So other than that,
He's not doing much. All right, Jane, it's
I'm
this
gonna hand
part.
it over to Jane.
And I will note for those, just because when you say you raised 1.9 million in fees, and then you say, oh, we raised the fees, that's a very large number due to the north end zone. That is not something that is on the back
It's not
of the ratepayers.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah, so that's not something we see normally. That's a very strong peak because of the north end zone work.
Yeah, all the construction that's being down at Gillette right now is contributed to that 1.9. And they've got multiple permits on that stadium right now that contributed to that amount.
Hi. As you know, I'm Jane Pierce, and I am conservation agent. And so I was tasked last year with finishing up the update of the open space plan, which updating it is not as easy as it sounds. There's a lot to it. So we did receive approval, conditional approval. So we now qualify for grants with the state. And there are a few more things that need to be tweaked, and so we'll have to be doing that pretty soon. But we adopted a bunch of policies to address issues that we find happen over and over again. One is the hazardous tree removal policy, which means if you have one tree and it's hazardous and you have an arborist say that it's hazardous, then they can cut it down if it's within the 100-foot buffer zone. And they're supposed to replant with other things as well. And then there's the beaver management plan, which they're coming. And they were wreaking havoc up in the state forest for a while, and I haven't been up there recently, but they can be interesting creatures to deal with. I like them, but they can be a problem. So that gives guidelines for that. And then we get a lot of lakefront filings. And now a lot of lakefront filings are taking the little old house and raising it and then putting a big one. So the commission asks the same questions over and over and over again. So we put it into a lakefront policy so that people can look at it and say, okay, this is what I'm going to expect. And the commission can, ask the same questions over and over again, but that kind of helps. And then we've been having a lot of problems, especially during 2020. I think a lot of people were naughty in 2020 because they were at home and they're looking at all the things that they could do in their yard, which weren't necessarily okay. And so we have some encroachments onto conservation land. And I have to get together with Paige and figure out a way of doing it. We came across one particularly egregious one, and I got to get rolling.
Side button.
This one, right?
Nope, next
Nope.
one. To the right.
Right inside.
Yeah, that one.
That one. Oh, okay.
That'll
Oh, I
make
thought
it
it was the
easy.
middle.
Light
Yeah.
up a green one, and that's not the button.
So we, one of the best parts of the commission's role is to educate the public. And so we've posted as many things as we can, and we make guides and all that sort of stuff. So why don't you take one batch and then pass them down and well. So we've got the Guide to Foxborough Conservation Land and Open Space, which was initially created by an intern of mine, and I threw all the stuff at him. I said, I'd like to look like this. I wound him up and I let him go. So we're on the 5th edition now, and, we tweak it a little bit every time. Our GIS person extraordinaire at the DPW, Ryan Norton, recently put together a conservation land story map. We had a bunch of different maps before, and they each had links that went to other places. But I think when he changed over to the new website server or whatever they are, a lot of them broke. So in any case, we've got this one main place for this story. They call it a story map. And you just push the buttons, they'll bring it up, they'll show you pictures, they'll tell you what's there, and it's pretty cool. Lane Homestead brochure and trail, that's our flagship. We're kind of proud of it. And so the information in there is one of the brochures. If you haven't gone there, I recommend you check it out, because a lot of people say, I've lived here forever and I never knew it was here. A lot of waterfront on the reservoir and native plants and stuff. So that's good. And then, guides, so that when people come in, they can pick them up and say, what are the wetland laws? And then a big thing that we're trying to work on nowadays is protecting your lake from stormwater, because all of the lakes are eutrophying around here, and stormwater input and fertilizer and all that stuff. It's all about knowledge is power. If people who live in a lake would never knowingly want to pollute their lake. So it's all about, if you do this and this.
Can I ask you a question on that, Jane?
Sure.
So just thinking about water cleanliness and quality in town, and the ponds, lakes, rivers, what have you. But my brother lives in Pembroke on a pond, and it's a swimming pond, and it's like vacation. I'm sure people would love to go back to whenever it was, the 50s, when you could jump into a lake or pond in Foxborough and swim. You still see the old, where they would have the swing off the trees around.
Yeah.
Do we know anything about the quality, the change in quality, or the potential to improve it, like minimize fertilizers and motor oils and stuff from getting in
We're
there?
trying to get the word out. And all I can do is, keep telling people about
Yeah.
these things and having all of these things on the website and our little brochures. But I always say knowledge is power. It's all about education, the importance of the buffer zone, and actually the Neponset Reservoir, from what I'm told, now that the dam actually holds water and they've been working on it and such, it's much cleaner than it used to be.
Okay.
And it's a work in progress, and it's all about education. And when I see the lawns going down to the waterfront, and then the people have weeds that they need to have treated, the evil part of me wants to say, well, we can do it everywhere else, but not in front of where there's grass.
Yeah.
So, I don't think that'd go over well, though. And then Living with Wetlands brochure. So the website, and at this point, does need to be updated a little bit, but I've put all of my favorite and most interesting things, I think, onto the website, so that anybody, including my commissioners or residents, can look online and kind of learn if they're interested.
Thank you.
So what's next for us? In the planning department, the big one coming up is the MBTA Communities Act. that's a biggie, and this board is gonna have to deal with it. I just wanna warn you and the residents that this thing is coming. The Attorney General's office doubled down recently and said towns cannot just choose not to do this. So we will be working on the zoning for this housing one way or another. We don't know yet whether the MBTA station will become permanent or not, and that will affect our numbers, but this is a big deal. And it doesn't look like the new administration is backing off on this at all. In fact, I think they're digging in. So we are going to have to address this one way or another. And I look to this board to really, working with John and me to figure out how best to work with the community on this, because we all know how people feel about more housing, especially high density. That said, we're not being asked, we're being told. And how do we want to handle that? So we'll deal with that another day, but I just want to warn everybody that this is coming and the clock is ticking. We do have an interim action plan. We are in compliance for a bit now, but we do have to take action on that, and we'll have to start talking. Barney and I talked about it today. In July, we're gonna start talking about the zoning. We figure in this September, we'll probably have to start some sort of transparent, open process by which this gets discussed as a community, because I don't think the staff should be deciding this. I don't know that your board wants to decide it. I don't think the planning board wants to be a unilateral decider on this, so
So it
buckle up.
might be brought to, like, the polls somewhere along the
I don't know
line,
that it'll
maybe?
go to that point, because the problem is we can't ask. I mean, you know what I mean? Well, I think if we went to the polls and said, how do you feel about this? They're gonna say very badly. We're not supportive, so
And they don't care.
No.
they do not
They
care.
don't care. Yeah, I've heard that from a couple of communities now, and there's really no guidelines yet.
Oh, no, there's a lot of guidelines now.
Oh, there are now?
Yeah, and in
Okay.
fact, they just came out with a model, and communities are passing the bylaws. So that makes it hard. I mean, in some ways, you kind of looking around going, well, who's gonna stand up? And it's like, wow. I mean, all but 7 communities filed action plans. So 7 communities are sort of ahead of the fight. We have an action plan. We have time till, like, next spring. We have to bring something to town meeting. I mean, we should. And that will take months. I mean, we all know this is a big zoning effort. We do not want to do it in a vacuum. So we kind of are coming up into the fall timeline. It could possibly slide till the fall town meeting next year, but we'll have to see. Because they've also told us if it doesn't pass the first time, you're expected to go back again and again and again. So
Without getting
Fun-
deep
fun
into
times
it,
ahead.
do we have a general number?
yes, it's either 768, you have to zone for, you don't have to build, but you have to zone for 768 multifamily units to be allowed by right on no less than 50 acres. Or if the commuter rail becomes a permanent commuter rail station and they reclassify us as a commuter rail community, right now we're an adjacent community, that would increase the number to 15%, so then we need something, I think it's 1,148 unit zoning,
So when you say 768 multi-units, you mean,
apartments, or houses.
so 768 is the number of
Total
residences?
Total
Okay.
units.
We must, minimum, we have to prove that we are
Yeah.
zoning for that minimum.
Yeah.
And if it's an adjacent community, there are some parameters on location, because they want it walkable, they don't want you to stick it in the woods, all that, but it's a little more flexible. If we become a commuter rail community, then it has to be within a half a mile of the commuter rail. So that's why we do have decisions that will, we need to make those decisions after we have the information on the commuter rail. So we can only do so much, but I think we can start talking about it, and
It basically has
Start
to be
duking it
multi
out.
because we probably don't even have the space to build 768 homes. So it
You have to
has,
build a high-rise or
so
something.
you have
well,
to,
it
you
has
have
to be
go
at, I
multi. Yeah.
forgot that one. It has to be at a density of a minimum of 15 units per acre. So, yeah, that's very dense. The lodge and the domain are about 9 and 11 units per acre. So we're talking at that density. Now, that said, over the 50 acres, you can have like mini districts in there, so you could, like, if you wanted to do one high-rise, I know none of us want to do that, I want to go on the record as saying that.
Why
But I'm
not?
just saying, if you did one really dense pocket over here, then you could have maybe less dense areas, all part of that 50 acres. But the net has to be the 50 acres minimum and the 768 or the 1148. So,
Silly question.
yeah.
What if there's no property around there to build? You can zone it, but is there property?
They're not asking you to, this is solely zoning. So, you can zone existing buildings. because basically they're saying, well, if the market warranted it, it would, it doesn't preclude it. Someone might go tear down a 2-story and put up a 5 if the zoning allowed it. So there are certain areas in town not eligible to be a district, things like roadways and wetlands and municipal properties. We did try to look at the stadium. We were like, maybe we could put the district over the whole stadium. That was excluded. We were being really creative of trying to find ways. We're like, you said we could put it over buildings, and so if this craft group wanted to tear down the stadium and put up housing, they could. So, but that won't work, so.
I mean, it seems like, at least from up at with the crafts and from the stadium, they're, good example is just Taylor Swift. I mean, they were able to bring a lot of people in, get them off the road, so I would guess that they want that to stay as permanent, but say it didn't, are we still, I'm not sure if I'm correct in reading before, are we still considered to have to do something because we have Sharon, Mansfield? So if you're also a surrounding community, there is a number for that too.
Yeah, that's what we are. So right now, we are not a commuter rail community. So the fact that we have a pilot program has nothing to do with the fact that we're in this. We've been an MBT community for decades, unfortunately. So we were in this no matter what. Adjacent is what we are now, but again, if that train service, and we don't know how they're gonna decide whether the train service, the pilot ends in August. No one really knows, even at MassDOT, how the decision is gonna be made, so, and then once they make the decision, how long will it take to formally convert us to a, so there's a lot of questions, but we are under somewhat of a time frame, because at a certain point, they will declare us out of compliance, and then, at first we were like, well, we could absorb a few of those budget hits, and try to cover it, because it's gonna be less expensive than the housing, but now that's when the AG letter came out and said, it's not just this, it's more, and the more towns try to resist it, they're gonna have to double down and really come after funding.
What is your next deadline to have something proposed?
I committed to try for spring town meeting. I think I could slide it a little, but, well, let me put it this way. I thought we were being late, and then when I looked at everybody else's plans, they're all kicking it down too. So I'm like, well, we should be later, because we have a commuter rail pilot. So, I might be able to buy an extra 6 months, but maybe not. I think it's gonna depend on so many factors. But I think we all can be doing the conversing, because whether it's 768 or whether it's 1148, I think either way, 768 is a tough pill to swallow, and we'll have to figure out the best location for that.
Do you have any insight as to where the craft group stands on this kind of development and the permanent
I
commuter
do.
rail?
I get the sense they've told us they're not, they're not in the housing business, so they weren't necessarily looking to do this. That said, they do have some land. I believe they did a market study that showed that they could absorb about, I think it was, I'm going off my memory, 200, 250 units. So they're basically saying, we might be open to some of this, but we don't necessarily think we could do 768 because we don't know that the market would support it. So I don't know.
And a lot of their land's already committed to other.
Yeah, but they do have land over by like Ashcroft and that area, so that's that's an area that might be looked at. And then we also have, then there's parking lots.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about the parking?
No, there's parking lots as well. And then that would be their decision, structured parking is extraordinarily expensive. They'd have to decide if they can handle losing parking for housing. So, again, we'll have to probably, if that's the location, and, if it's a commuter rail community, that will be the location. If it's not, then we'll decide. But that might be the least impactful location anyway, if we have to do it, so. But there's a lot to be discussed. So, all right, now I'm going way over. Master plan update, just to warn you, the last master plan was done in 2015, so I put in a request for the capital budget for next year. And I'm applying for some grants right now, so we'll see, but I just wanted to get that on everybody's radar screen, that we might have to we have to do an update. And then we're gonna continue with Uptown revitalization, and then Scott mentioned Permitize, the software. Planning and conservation is gonna be moving into that. Right now, it's Board of Health, Fire, and Administration that are moving into it, and then we've never offered it, so we're gonna be the last to do it. But that was all part of that grant, so we are going to be also going on to electronic permitting. And then Jane's gonna finalize that open space plan, and we'll deal with encroachments and all the other millions of issues that come up. Yep. And then
In my spare time.
Scott doesn't have much to do. He's gonna be continuing.
No, he really isn't.
So, and that's it. So I didn't leave as much time as I wanted to for questions, but anybody have any questions?
I have a couple. Anybody else want to go first before I always steal the show first anyhow, but
Go right
anybody
ahead.
else want? Just a couple of questions that, people that saw that you were coming on the agenda. What's going on, with the property at Chestnut Street? Is it
The 10
gonna be-
acres?
Yeah, was it gonna be someone told me, I don't know if I just went right over my head. Is there gonna be a little hotel or a motel or something right there?
Over on, behind
Yeah.
Conrad?
Yeah,
No,
like where we had like the pop-up tent.
Pop-up, yeah. Doug King had proposed an inn there,
Uh-huh.
but we didn't move forward on, it was too late in the zoning cycle. I don't know if he's gonna try
So it
to,
might circle back, but right now, nothing.
it might,
Okay.
it might.
All right.
It's not something on the table right now.
And the other question I had is kind of Jane and you, Paige, a little combination. So I was playing catch-up reading my reporters, and I read that whole big article about the contamination down at the bleachery, which, I mean, obviously we've heard, but how is that affecting now the Moore Street project? As I was reading it, and I thought maybe I wasn't reading it correctly, it was basically saying that there is contamination there. Is that, am I reading it wrong? I mean, I know it sounded to me like it was a college student, right? Because he was doing this from, he went to
From
UConn.
UConn, yeah.
So, but reading it, I mean, he talked about the past, which we all knew there was a past down there. But the way I read it he was like basically saying that it is contaminated. Is that true
How long
or?
ago was that? How long ago was that?
It just came out.
Yeah.
No,
I
it's,
haven't read it
I don't, was that last week's report or
last-
the week, or the
couple
week
weeks ago.
before, maybe?
I think it was last week.
Over the weekend, I just happened to, I have like 4 or 5 that I hadn't even touched yet, so I was just kind of skimming through, and I saw it when I was reading it, and I said, maybe I'll, so, I wasn't really
answer it.
sure where it was coming from.
Right,
you
so
know?
we always knew there was the potential or some contamination on
Yeah.
that site. That site is not the 119 Moore Street.
Okay.
They did do testing on 119 Moore Street prior to applying, and then they came in and they did testing during the hearing process.
Yeah.
And there will be continued testing before they are allowed to put a shovel into the ground. And then throughout the entire thing, if they come across anything, immediately they would have to report it. I mean, they have to anyway, but.
Yeah.
So I don't think that affects it. We've always known that 131 is a problem.
Okay.
Matt Brennan is your resource on that. He's the point person on that right
Okay.
now. We are continuing to work on it, but I think the general gist is it's 2 separate sites. There's always been a concern over here, and they checked over here, and
Okay.
So I don't think it
Well, that's what I
precludes that.
thought, but reading it, that's why I was like, am I missing something here? Because, I mean, it was just like, there is contamination, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm like, I thought we had some testing done, and,
Two
so
separate
I
sites.
wasn't really sure how that was, the way I read it, and I'm like, okay, am I missing something here? And I thought maybe I might have missed it, I missed a couple of meetings, did I miss a discussion on it or something, but,
On
okay.
131, I did have an order out to demolish the Duke's place because it is an unsafe structure. So
Which
I'm
one is
working
that?
with Duke's,
Which is Duke's.
right in the back,
Okay.
right in the back behind the, is it Summit?
Summit Casting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Caskin, it's right behind it, it's
Okay.
connected to that. I'm working closely with the fire department and the Board of Health, and that's another
Yeah, we got a lot of
major,
those.
major thing that we're working to,
Yeah.
doing a collaborative effort on trying to clean up and get safe.
Jane, we should have had you way back when they were doing all that dumping, you would have been right on top of that.
I would hope so, except
Yeah.
we
Might
didn't
not
know
be in the
these
wetlands.
things. We
Yeah.
didn't know these things back then,
Yeah.
and so, the wetlands are evil and have mosquitoes, so let's fill them
Yeah, pour
with
your oil
stuff.
in there. So.
I mean,
Cars,
think of
yeah.
how the laws have changed.
I had heard the space behind Conrad's at one point with Doug King was going to be a daycare center or something like
Yeah,
that.
they approved it, but unfortunately the daycare walked away.
Fuck, yep.
The financing,
Oh,
the
that's what
the interest
happened,
rates
yeah.
killed it.
Because that area is a real eyesore now,
I know.
so I'm
We
sure
were also
it's-
gonna have a daycare in front of 29 Wall Street, but that pulled.
They pulled out of that. too.
That's what I heard that
Yep.
too.
Probably you get the people that they're staying home now. There's a lot of people staying home to work, maybe the need isn't, it's quite like it used to be.
Although try working with kids in your house.
Oh, yeah.
Little one. Not you. You clearly can handle working.
We got one more from him. He doesn't know about the next one yet, but he'll enjoy that one.
Gotta go to bed, really?
Any other questions? Great presentation.
Just real quick,
Sorry.
Schneider, anything on Schneider, that space, or just mum's the word at this point?
John and I will have to get together on that one.
They're still working on cleaning it up.
Yeah.
So that's, I met with Paul Ahern over there a couple of weeks ago, and they haven't decided what to do with it, in part because they need to get it cleaned up.
Okay.
Well, that's another biggie.
Yeah.
Yes. But that was a big article in the paper
Maybe you
too
can zone
about
that
Schneider this past week. Bringing a lot of stuff back to the US, so maybe,
Yeah.
didn't mention Foxborough, but maybe that
Yeah.
will bring some stuff back. But thank you very much. Great
Thanks for having us.
presentation. You guys did awesome.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir.
All right, one more. You'll like
This is a
this
good
one.
one, then.
Yeah, this is a good one.
coming up.
Read this one.
Where?
Read this one.
Day,
Oh, no, up above.
common,
Common victualers,
victualers,
application.
application, ice cream beach club.
Say that one a little louder and again.
Ice cream beach club review and vote on a common victualer
Victualers. And
and day,
7-day.
7-day entertainment license for Ice Cream Beach Club at 10 Mechanic Street.
You know what that means? An ice cream place at 10 Mechanic Street. That's the one you were waiting for. All right.
Is this a topic you want to talk about? Yeah?
We all want to talk about it.
Yeah. Who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about it.
So my name is Sarah Gibson.
Yeah.
So ice cream.
Gibson sounds familiar.
Yes, it may. So yeah, Ice Cream Beach Club. So this would be an ice cream shop on 10 Mechanic Street. The front lower space of the building would be the commercial space for the location. It would be a seasonal shop, so obviously, ideally, come next year, I would open a little bit earlier than this year, since, we're just trying to get things going. So I think ideally, there's still construction going on. It previously was an office space. So construction, is in progress, but the plan is to hopefully open maybe in the next month or so, ideally. So I would be great to have it, sometime around like when the start of summer is, because everyone wants ice cream in the summer, And then I guess just let me know any questions that you guys have for me or anything you want me to go through, I can answer for you.
I think personally it's outstanding. I mean, DQ's DQ, but
Yeah.
real ice creams, right? Real ice cream.
Yeah. And I grew up, so I'm from Foxborough. I grew up, after school, going to Friendly's, and so the ice cream that I will be serving, so I'm not making the ice cream. It's a distributor, which no relation whatsoever, but the name of the dairy farm is called Gibson's Dairy Farm,
No way.
which is really cool. Yeah, and actually one of the owners of the shop is Sarah Gibson, which is it's just crazy how that worked out. It's spelling a little bit different, but she's got the H at the end of Sarah. But so the ice cream won't be made specifically at the shop. It will be delivered every Wednesday, and then it will be the toppings, and then just like waters and sodas and things like that at a reach-in fridge. And then everything is to go. So there's space to sit inside and space to sit outside with a little front patio. But it's an 8-ounce cup and then a waffle cone and then a larger size cup, and everything would be to go. And there's also going to be a container that's a 4-flight container that would for like 4 scoops of ice cream, but in a to-go manner. So that's that. Anything else?
Any questions?
Yeah.
Do we have, so a couple of things that, like Doc said, I think outstanding. I think, other than the bakery, this could be the next big thing that people are looking for here.
Yeah.
So a couple of questions I have just about the area. And I know you said, like, when you were a kid, you guys would go to Friendly's.
Yes.
So do we have a plan for the traffic? Like, are people going to be parking and then coming over? You're going to have kids crossing the street? We had a kid get the kids run across the street to get
Yeah.
to Cumberland Farms and stuff, so have you had any discussion, like, maybe with the police chief, or as far as safety, or, just because I'm thinking that might be something that might follow. 'Cause
Yeah.
the kids are gonna, and are they gonna try to park on Mechanic Street, or, I know we're working on parking around the common, of course, we can park and walk to your shop.
Yeah.
So has that been kind of going through your mind, just, the safety issue, where this isn't something that's gonna attract kids?
Yeah, of course. Well, I think one of the things that is, what is probably, it's hard to find, I guess I would say, in the center of town, is this place actually, this 10 Mechanic, where the ice cream shop is, we have our own parking lot. So there's gonna be, it's also gonna be 5 one-bedroom apartments in that same building. So there'll be 5 spots that are specific within the parking lot to those residents, but aside from that, the rest of the spaces are for the ice cream shop. So I think that is ideal, because most of the shops at the center of town, sometimes it's kind of, they don't have their own assigned parking lot, or it might be a little bit more difficult to find parking. So in that sense, there's that parking lot specific to the building, and then there's, as you guys know, within Mechanic Street, there's the street parking there, and then the parking lots around. I haven't spoke specifically to the police chief and things like that, but that's definitely something that I would do, just to, especially like during, it would, I assume in the summertime, things are busy, kids are walking around, especially as the weather gets nicer. But with an ice cream shop, like you said, that will attract kids, and safety is top
And
priority.
it seemed like, because in my head, I think of every time, like, I'm driving home from work and I'm driving by DQ, and it's like the cars. And
I
all
know,
this
it's
stuff.
crazy,
But for
yeah.
you, obviously, this is walk-in, there's
Yes.
no, so that'll alleviate any problems with backups of traffic
Yeah.
or things like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely love the idea, just thinking in my head, some of the issues that might come from it, and, I know how you guys work. I'm sure you're going to work through everything, and you'll go all through the right channels, whatever. So just something that I thought to bring up.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
But completely support
Yeah.
your venture, 100%.
Yeah, that's a good point, though. How many parking spaces do you have?
So it's, I believe, 17 total spaces, and then 5 would be assigned to the residents. So, yeah, the rest, of about 11, yeah.
Close, a good amount. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and that was like one of, so just to kind of give you maybe, I don't know if you're even interested, but like kind of a little bit of a backstory. So, I have been wanting to open an ice cream shop since I was probably his age. So I always said someday I would do it. Like, you know what I mean? That was just like a goal at some point in life. And I think this, obviously with an ice cream shop location, it being, ideally walkable, especially for kids and things like that. And with our town, we're currently, I guess considered to be Dunkin' Donuts, there is the Baskin Robbins, but we're really kind of missing that just standard ice cream, hard scoop ice cream shop that just is a standalone shop. So I think that was something, just the fact that there was that, this building available to be able to use the space to put this ice cream shop in, that was when I was like, okay, this is meant to be. And then the fact that it had the parking, just to me, just kind of tied it all together. And then obviously, like I said, the location itself is just ideal. It's, I think, walking to every school except for the borough. And then obviously like the booth and just, wherever the kids go. But it's not obviously strict to just kids. We all know that. I've never met a person that doesn't like ice cream. It goes from, I say my age range is like 1, 2 to 100 and, or, over 100 if you're still living it, kicking it at over 100. So yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do. So my background in terms of my degree, so I have a business, I graduated business school, Bentley University with business management. I have a full-time job, so I'm doing this on the side. So it's just something that I'm very, very passionate about, like I said, since I was maybe even younger than him. So I'm excited.
Seth?
Yeah, so for me, it's gonna be a little too convenient.
Yeah,
'cause I
right
walk out my
behind.
I know,
back
I was-
door.
Both of you two, frequent flyers.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, we both could.
Sarah, did you
Oh,
mention?
so you might have to recuse yourself, come to think of it.
Oh,
Can I ask a
for,
question?
But then I won't.
Yeah, he's in a butter, then he should.
Yeah, because you're a direct abutter.
okay.
Okay. Good thing we brought that up. We wouldn't want anybody listening.
It's gonna be a softball, but never mind.
And by the way, too, in terms of if any, because I know one of the first questions I get asked or what people are interested in is like, what's the flavors? So there'll be 16 flavors, and I have the website, it's icecreambeachclub.com, and the flavors are on the tab there if you're interested. I have it here too, but I feel like that's something that everyone's interested in.
Oh, yeah, what are the hours?
Okay, so right now, so seasonal, like I said, the hours would be, right now, Mondays and Tuesdays, it would be closed. I just want to start off not doing 7 days a week. I mean, obviously, things subject to change, especially, you know, as we figure things out and how things go. So Mondays and Tuesdays would be closed. Wednesdays and Thursdays would be 3 to 9. Fridays would be 3 to 10. Saturdays and Sundays would be 12 to 10. If Sunday we wanted to do 9 instead of 10, that's just the estimated
Yeah, but
kind of thought process behind the hours for right now. And obviously, like I said, subject to change, but that's the plan for right now.
When we go ahead and, if we approve this and she wanted the hours to change, would she have to come back and
oh, 'cause
reply?
it's a 7-day.
Okay, it's just, yeah, because what I was gonna say too is, you know, I mean, I'm just thinking of the foot traffic you're gonna have when there's
Yeah.
events going on, and say there's something going on in the common on a Monday night or a Tuesday night or something, you know, then,
Right.
you know, you might wanna say, hey, you know, this week, you know, put a big sign in the open, we're open
Yeah.
Tuesday night this week or something,
Yeah.
just to take advantage of, you know, the foot traffic, and there's so
Yeah.
much buildup uptown now that,
I know.
I think you're hitting it at a great time,
Yes, yeah,
You really
no,
are.
Right. I know, and speaking of, too, the center of town, it's nice, too, in terms of, like, we have the you know, the small amount of inside seating and then the patio seating, but even just the center of town, there's the benches, people can sit there, grab an ice cream, sit and walk there and enjoy it, or, you know, wherever uptown, too.
I have one other question. Are you gonna be able to taste the ice cream? Like, are you gonna have little tasters?
Yes,
Mini
of
spoons.
course,
I'm looking
yeah.
at
you
all
gotta-
the flavors, I'm like, I don't even know
Yes.
which one I would pick.
Yeah,
They all
do
look fabulous.
Yeah, your sample tasting, we will have that for sure. Sometimes people just want to kind of taste all the flavors, and then they already know, like, they walked in there knowing what flavor, but they were like, can I try this one or this one? Just, you know, you just gotta
Just in case I'm gonna
taste it,
change
yeah.
my mind.
But yes, we will have that, of course.
Well, good for you.
Thank you.
You know, living a dream that you've had for a long time.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And the neon sign that's planned for the inside of the shop, you know, there's always little sayings in the neon signs, the LED neon signs. It's ice cream makes me happy. It's something that I just say all the time, and I just feel like it's just, I mean, even just, I feel like your smiles and your faces, everyone, you know, everyone lights up with ice cream. So, yeah, so I mean, I'm excited because, like I said, it's, you know, it's a dream and goal that I've had, but I'm just happy to bring that to the town too, because I think ice cream, whether you're sad and you want to eat ice cream, or you're happy and you're celebrating, it's just, you know, it just puts everybody in a good mood, so,
Just because.
You could
Yeah.
be overwhelmed by the response, actually.
yeah,
You have to drive quite a ways to really get a real ice cream.
I know.
In this area.
yeah, yes.
All right. Motion?
Okay. Motion to approve a common victualler and 7-day entertainment license for Ice Cream Beach Club at 10 Mechanic Street.
Second. Nope, you didn't want to recuse yourself.
Oh, yeah, he can't.
I'll second it.
Any further questions? All right. All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye. All those opposed?
All those opposed?
None? And one recused.
One recused.
Awesome.
Nice job.
Good job. All right, congratulations.
All right,
We're
thank
psyched.
you.
All righty.
Yay, you guys all there, hopefully.
All right, you know, Ian's got to go home and have dinner. And his brothers looks like wicked tired too. And
They all
thank you.
came in, I was,
Oh, here's your proclamation, Ian, and we want to thank you very much for helping. Because this was my first day as chair, and thank you. There you go. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Ian. Bye-bye. You did a great job, Dad. Yeah.
Have a good night.
With him gone, I don't know what to do. All right. So, next on the agenda. Comment Vic. Board, committee, and commission reappointments.
So these are your annual appointments and reappointments. In the, actually, in the agenda itself, as an attachment that was posted, is the listing of all the names and positions that you're making your appointments and reappointments to. So you do not need to read them. So the motion would just reference these. You're probably going to need, at your next meeting, kind of a second round. Not everybody got back to us, so we do need to get these reappointments on an annual basis taken care of, but there'll be a few stragglers we'll take care of at a subsequent meeting.
Okay. Any questions? Awesome.
No questions.
You're up.
Motion to approve the annual board and committee reappointments as more particularly described on the posted May 23rd, 2023 agenda.
You're not recused anymore.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. All right. Open meeting law complaint response?
Yes, so we received an open meeting law complaint, again, from a gentleman in Alabama. This, according to the law, you have 14 days to convene a meeting and to discuss it. This particular complaint pertains to our March 28th meeting. Under the open meeting law, you're required to approve your minutes either 30 days or within the next 3 meetings or 30 days, whichever is the latter. The idea is that your minutes get approved in a reasonable time frame. So the board actually did, from the meeting on the March 28th, you did approve those minutes at May 9th, and in accordance with open meeting law, 940 CMR, you are well within compliance, so there is no violation. So by consensus, I've drafted a response that basically states that, and on behalf of the board, I'd be happy to send that out. So there is no, for the record, there is no violation.
Great.
So is his complaint, so he just never should have made the complaint? He was incorrect in interpreting?
Yes. The only point of confusion could have been, remember, we did post a meeting prior to town meeting that was subsequently canceled. So, our May 9th meeting was our third meeting. So,
Okay, awesome. We don't have to vote on anything. We just go ahead and send the letter.
Nope, I'll
Yeah.
take care of that tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right into town manager's update.
So a couple of things. One, we do have on September 23rd, this will take place on the Town Common. This is the Foxborough Rotary Club's Peace Day. It's in support of UN Peace Day, and the Rotary is going to have programs on the Common, including creative interpretations of what peace means to individuals. So that'll take place September 23rd from 12 to 5 p.m. The rain date is September 30th. And then we've got a few things that have happened in terms of staffing. We have a few new additions and a couple departures. One, we've welcomed Nancy Cazella, who is now our collections coordinator in the finance office. We've had quite a few folks that have started new down in that particular office. We also have Alma Algalaro, who is, she previously worked as an assessor's assistant in the town of Burrell, Rhode Island. So she now is going to be joining us as an administrative assistant in the finance office, specifically working for the assessor's division. And then thirdly, we have Corey Goldrick, who is currently a sergeant at Norfolk County Sheriff's Department. And Corey is going to be coming over as a lateral transfer to be a police officer for the town of Foxborough, which is great. She had a lot of experience. Apparently has been working the events in Foxborough around Gillette Stadium for many years. So she's a known entity, and frankly, I did a quick interview, and I think we're a stellar hire for the town. Then we have a couple departures. We have Officer Charles Gallagher, who is retiring after 36 years with the police department. And then one that is a little bit bittersweet for us, Lieutenant Ken Fitzgerald is resigning, but he's resigning for a good reason. He is now going to be the new chief in Bellingham, the town of Bellingham. So sad to see him go. Obviously, Chief Grace thinks highly of him, but it's nice to see somebody, if they're going to leave. We can't make him chief here. The only way for that type of advancement is to move. So we wish him well, and our loss is Bellingham's gain. And that's all I have on the updates.
Awesome. Were we going to have Chief make a presentation? No, he's just here to listen in. Okay, great. Yeah, great for Lieutenant Fitzgerald. That's good for him. That's awesome. Under a selectmen's update, the select board schedule, one of the dates changed.
Yeah, so on the July date, the originally July date was the 18th, and we're looking to move that on the 11th due to some scheduling conflicts.
If you guys are okay with that. That's
Leah,
really the only change.
that's the only change from the existing schedule. Leah did communicate, Leah Gibson did communicate to me that date works for her as well. So if everybody's in agreement, that would be the only date change in the schedule.
Okay. Weekend event recap, it was, the concert was phenomenal. She did a great job. The Swifties, as they're called, thought she was just phenomenal. My son and daughter-in-law went Saturday night.
Ryan as well.
But, even the torrential downpour couldn't dampen the spirit of the people out in the audience. And I got to tell you, Taylor Swift was getting just as wet as everybody else. There was no cover in her stage at all, and she did a great job. I know I live on Main Street. I was not affected any of the 3 days by backup traffic. I thought Friday, all of them would be the worst with commute. There was no backup. It was, yeah, sure, if you want to. I think, there was certainly, I think the rain probably slowed things down around traffic-wise, but, as Chief told us earlier that, they were ready, they were prepared, and,
Yeah, I figured if the agenda says weekend updates, there should be probably someone here to answer that.
Can I tell you an observation I had before you go? Because I'm so glad you're here, because I'm wondering if you guys swapped anything up. So I worked a double Friday, double Saturday, double Sunday at the Red Wing Diner, so right on Route 1. And like clockwork, I think Saturday it was just slightly later, at 1 o'clock, dead stopped in front of us as far as I could see. And at about 6, quarter to 6, not a car in front of us, right? So, except on Sunday, it seemed like the traffic was, it was almost like I was wondering if they changed something with the lights, like in Walpole, which I don't even know. I know the state police handles some of that stuff, right, Chief? So I'm not even sure, but it was like all of a sudden the cars were all going and we'd see no cars, and then it would, then obviously a bunch of cars, and then they'd all go. So, but, it was, it's getting, I don't even know if it's more people than a home football game, is it? Because they use I guess you lose the end zone, but because they're using the floor, and stuff like that. So is it still roughly the same things around?
That will all depend on the event. It could vary from
Well, in
72,000.
particular, this sold out event.
This was 66,000.
Okay, so, from what I was seeing, everybody's coming for an event at the same time, just like a football game, but I thought, it seemed to me like what I was witnessing the traffic, and granted, that was on Route 1. It was moving, everybody seemed to, the traffic was gone before well before the event was beginning, so I don't think you had anybody like, oh my God, I couldn't get in before the concert was gonna start. So that was just an observation I had, looking at Route 1 all 3 days for hours. So just wanted to throw that before you kind of told us what you thought.
Yeah, I can give a very quick summary. One thing that I hear a lot is, oh, what did you do with the traffic? I'm going to be 100% forward and dead on. We will have traffic during game days, okay, or concerts in Foxborough, okay? It's unavoidable when you introduce that many people into the community with the infrastructure that's on Route 1. So the traffic management plan has not changed. It's the same one that's been in place.
The traffic management plan in and around the side streets of Foxborough are the same ones that we've had in place for over 15 years. The resident passes that you saw a lot of excitement about, we've been doing that for 20 years. We just have seen a change in the dynamics of drivers. We've seen with them not showing up on time, the ride share has been introduced. So in this particular event, there was a lot of concerns, Friday night commuter traffic. There was a lot of messaging. I started press conferences 2 weeks in advance, getting the word out on Channel 5 for Channel 25, you have to show up early. The infrastructure can only handle so many cars. If everybody shows up late, there isn't a traffic plan in the world that can make that many cars travel on the roads and be on time. So the messaging was reach out to the fans. The craft group sent the message. There was a press conference done on Wednesday. Messaging, the fans adhered to it. They showed up early and we got people in. I even believe commuters going to work adjusted their schedule on Friday so that they avoided 95 and Route 1 as well. And it really paid off. Our partners with the state police, Lieutenant Brian McKenna, who's the barracks commander, we talk nonstop. As this is unfolding in live time, we make adjustments if we can, but a lot of it is about messaging and driver confidence with the signage, and they know where to go and what lot to get to. I believe our satellite lots probably saw some of their best Taylor Swift parking numbers this year as well. That's usually doesn't happen. I think originally Taylor Swift was around 55, 60. They did slowly release more tickets and extended behind the stage a little bit, so they pushed it out to about 66 on Friday. Saturday, the weather was terrible. We did see a little backup on 140. That's because who wants to go early and sit in the parking lot and get wet? I mean, but they still didn't come late to miss the event. And then Sunday was all hands on deck. They all showed up early, and we even ended up with some extra guests as well who showed up without tickets. But we had planned that as well. We had done our research in Atlanta, Tennessee, and most recently in Atlanta, so we anticipated that. We had staff to address that. And the fans who showed up were the best. They were the best. We had maybe 1 or 2 custodies per night. And they adhered to all the directions. They adhered to security when the police officers asked them to move. No issues whatsoever. It was just really a great atmosphere. The amount, I can tell you, my police department is spent. 3 concerts in a row is all hands on deck. In this event, this planning, this is probably, no offense to the other performers out there, this has probably got the most hype in the country when she's playing. Absolutely, the draw, the enthusiasm. So the planning, we were also tasked with handling all of Taylor Swift's private security as well, starting on Thursday all the way to Sunday when she left. And we had no flaws, no issues, and the craft group was very happy with what law enforcement did, both from the Foxborough Police, and I have to thank all of the police departments. I must have had about 7 or 8 chiefs, and they allow all their staff to come over, and all the offices, I mean, they were putting in long days. These were long days. The elements were great. They're standing positions, traffic post positions. We usually would pull them. Once we got everybody into the stadium, we could not do that this time, anticipating that ride share would try to inundate the back roads. And so we kept them there to kind of keep that hard perimeter. I will say that we'll sit here and we said we had a great success, but you're only as good as yesterday. So each event, we hope for the best. You could have a flip over on 495 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that traffic management plan is gone. It doesn't matter what law enforcement does. It doesn't matter what parking. When you have that many cars trying to make it down such a narrow infrastructure on Route 1, it's tough.
Well, also, didn't affect right here locally, but also Janet Jackson was at Xfinity Friday night too. So I mean, not as big a venue, is here, but still you have another group of people, and like you said, Friday's a work day. So everybody's, affecting 495, 95. I thought, and our boss shut us down a little early because there was really not much business. So I left work and at like 8:15, Everybody was in that stadium. I came down, I mean, of course, can't take the turns because they're blocked, but I drove directly by the stadium to go home, and no traffic, and saw all the policemen there. I mean, I thought from what I saw, bravo to everybody. I thought, you know, that was 3 consecutive days of you guys working hard.
This was
you know.
weeks of planning to roll this out, and a lot of these shows, when you're working with the director of securities, they don't have all their plans in place until they get really close, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we have to adjust. And I just have to thank all the officers in my department. I can tell you, all the shifts got filled. Almost every officer picked up hours here and there just to make this work and to fill in all those critical spots. And I can tell you, Monday morning, we're still doing because we have to do all the billing for this. We have to bill out, we have to collect all the hours, all the patient, and this is, my 2 staff do this. So they're still working on it right now, because when there's one event, you can get to it the next day and you can process it. But when you have 2 and 3 events, you know, there's like thousands of hours that have to be accounted for, and there's a slip associated with every sign in and sign out. But it was great teamwork by everybody, and I just, you know, it's.
I want to say, on social media, the perception is that it was very well managed by the police. I mean, that's really,
A safe and secure environment is our ultimate
Right.
goal on these events. Some of the customer service aspects sometimes are secondary, but security is still our absolute #1 goal, and we met that level. We also had a town to run as well, so if you can imagine this many people, all of our hotels are filled. Our calls for service at these facilities were extremely busy as well. I believe we also ran a farmer's market. We had the last day of high school parade on Friday as well. I think we had a,
1 lap around.
no, they don't get a lap. They got a half a lap.
That's true.
Yeah. That would be some of the
Three-quarters,
benefits
three-quarters.
of the redesign of the common.
Yeah.
But we had an escort, we had no issues with them, the kids were great. And, you know, the residents, if you look on social media, the residents are so supportive, and they understand when we have an event, Foxborough changes. Like, it's gonna impact your life, they adapt well, and, you know, I don't know if anybody's got a big list of complaints. I know there'll always be something that we can do better, but I think overall, the whole team, the buy-in, with the stadium and the state police, especially those guys and women are working end to end. When you're 95 to 495, every turn, every intersection, they have to manage. They're long days. And the amount of pedestrians that are now crossing Route 1 because of the parking has really shifted to the other side is massive. And that's gonna impact the exit time. Not because they can't get the cars out fast enough, is they actually have to get the pedestrians across. So no matter what you do, you're not moving a car for, 30, 40 minutes post-event.
Awesome, great.
Is that?
Yeah, that's
All right.
great. Thank you very much. Thanks for stopping by.
All right.
It was really
Good job.
good to let the town know.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah, just a reminder, Founder's Day is June 10th, and Memorial Day is coming up Monday. So, any other,
Quick thing.
yeah?
Doc, just thinking about, we see a lot of people come in and our department heads talking about the grants, the great job they do with grant funding for various projects and initiatives in town. And it got me thinking about how do we maximize grant opportunities in town? So I have no idea what the total opportunity is, what our slice of the pie is, and what, how, I feel like we do really well, and maybe we just want to think about how do we look at that, maybe some kind of tracking mechanism, some kind of systematic tracking, or
Well, I think we
to
do
understand
that.
what we do and how well we do it, and
Yeah.
and if
So we
there's other
do-
opportunities that we could take advantage of.
Yeah, so if I may, through the chair, we do get notifications. Basically, every department head belongs to a statewide association, as well as I get regular emails from our congressmen, as well as our state reps, Senator Feeney and Representative Barrows are terrific communicators. So I'm also plugged in to the Mass Municipal Association. I serve on a few boards and committees there. So as programs roll out, we regularly distribute things to department heads to look at, hey, is this a program or a grant program that we might be able to take advantage of? A lot of programs, a lot of the grants are need-based, so sometimes we don't qualify, but ones that are competitive-based, community compact programs, some of the mass work stuff, I think we're very much on top of those. So we know the regular grant programs, been doing this for a long time, so we know the ones where we have projects. We're constantly having conversations about if we have a project, is there any grants that might help us out on this? And again, working with the folks at the state level, we're able to chase most of that down. So I'd say we're very plugged in. It's choosing to apply for grants that we think we have a reasonable chance of obtaining. You know, you can waste a lot of time applying for grants that, you know, you just know you're not going to be successful on the other side. And as we know folks too, so even we know a lot of folks that are overseeing the grants, and we can have candid conversations like, look, do we even have a chance at this? And they'll be like, if you're not here, here, or here, don't bother. So I think we really do a great job of identifying and chasing down the grants that we have an opportunity for. So maybe we don't do as good of a job on the flip side of plugging all the grants that we do obtain. But I don't think it's for a lack of knowing what's out there or chasing. You know, I think we are discriminatory in terms of what do we go after and what's the best bang for your buck in terms of chasing some of these grants.
So it sounds like it could be a really good story then if we had some kind of tracking mechanism or reporting, maybe as part of financial trend monitoring to understand, you know, total volume, win rate, comparative versus, you know, year over time or versus other communities. I'm just thinking out loud, but it's just something I've been thinking about for a while.
And they're skewed sometimes. You know, you get sometimes you're lucky. You get an earmark, especially for at the federal level, like for the sewer study. You know, there's $400,000. The big ones are, you know, the mass grants, you know, the mass works grants, and then there's all sorts of smaller grants, community compact grants, the marketing grants that Paige Dunkey was talking about tonight. So, yeah, we can. You know, we try as the department heads come in to give you kind of a snapshot of what they've been able to obtain. What you don't see is that we're constantly distributing stuff. We will actually get lists as these grant programs come out. The state wants people to apply for them. So they'll mail them out, they'll email them out, we forward them on to staff. We'll discuss them at a department head meeting. Is this something that makes sense? Do we want to put a team together to chase something? So, yeah, I think we're pretty good in terms of knowing what's out there and like I said, just chasing down the things that we have a good opportunity of obtaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Anything?
No.
Okay, and I know we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but, you know, not on the air. I'd just like to congratulate Mr. Beck for winning the. I know, but we got to do it on air. You know, the community volunteer award at the Rodman Awards night last weekend, and he does a great job for us. He's always in that back room and has us on point. And congratulations, Mr. Beck.
Congratulations.
Absolutely.
All right. Action items.
Action items. Motion to approve 4 one-day beer and wine licenses for Wormtown Brewery during the Patriot Place Pickleball Classic on June 22nd through June 25th from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Second.
Okay. Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now we have the Gillette Stadium. Motion to approve the North End Zone extended hours request for work from 7 to 11 p.m. following conditions from prior requests at 1 Patriot Place until September 30th, 2023.
Second.
Any further questions? They've done this before for the most part, and they try to do anything a little bit later, quieter.
A lot of cleanup and logistics work. We have received no complaints.
complaints.
Board of Health has no issues, Building Department has no issues, police have no issues.
Right.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion to accept a donation totaling $210 from Laura Bradley, $140, and Sandra Norton, $40 for the historic house plaques.
Second.
Any further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept a donation totaling $1,800 from Citizens Bank, $1,500, Elliott Physical Therapy, $150, and Rally Point Inn and Pub, $150 for Fox in the Borough sponsorships.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chair? There's just a couple other donations that were made that were under the $100 threshold to acknowledge.
Okay.
$25 from Marjorie and Eric Arvidon, $25 from March and Shannon Chase, $100 each from Christine and William Belanger, Kate Gill and Jared Craig, Stephanie Ward, Modern Family Chiropractic, Beverly Crocker, and Catherine Connor Moen.
Thank you. All for that Fox in the Borough.
Yes.
And just one other thing, can't wait to see them.
Yeah, I know.
We are
Yeah.
having a grand reveal March 31st at the Marilyn Rodman Performing Arts Center. I think there's more information that'll be going out, and then they're going to, I believe, a ribbon cutting is scheduled for Friday, June 9th, before Founders Day, as sort of a kickoff to Founders Day weekend, and going to each of the locations, so you'll get more.
Did you mean May 31st? For the first one, you said March.
Sorry, yes, May 31st.
Yep, yep.
Good pickup.
Yes.
Okay. Motion to approve the April 25th, 2023 Select Board meeting minutes.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the May 9th, 2023 Select Board meeting minutes.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
And motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody.